In this video, I'd like to continue our discussion from last week. So last week, we give you a general overview and asked you to start thinking about the numbers of different printing parameters and how does that change your cost and the amount of material consumed. And now we would like to bring you further into the 3D printing, but what we're looking at now is actual production line. Okay, it's not just one printer, but we want to be able to show you from the beginning of when we bring in the material from the supplier and all the way when we are ready to ship the items to the customer. So the agenda for this video is the following. We start with the SciPac. SciPac is something we talk about in the 270, and I'd like to give you a quick review what that is and how does that affect our process model. Okay, so in this video, the key focus is really the process model itself. Okay, and then we bring in the print farm design, and in a sense, we want to know, okay, so in order to reach a certain amount, how many printers do we use and how many people are we utilizing? And we have some discussion later on, and this video will be two parts because the second video is based on the numbers built upon what we have learned previously, and it would take a while, so I will cut it into two pieces. So think about this. You probably still remember in TEC330 you learned about supply chain model. Okay, and right at the time when we start discussing chapter 7 regarding the operation management, we expand the supply chain model and becoming SciPac model. That's what you see over here. You have OEM here in the middle. Okay, oops. You have OEM here, and then you have suppliers, the customer. Now you also have input and output. Okay, but this becomes input and output, and this whole thing become a process. This is your value adding process. And in our case, okay, our project will be through a 3D printing process. So when you look at the following, the SciPac, every one of them is a process. The block represent the process. So if you are fabricating the part, you bring in raw material and the output will be finished parts. And the finished part is actually input of your assembly, and the output becomes assembled product. And depends on how company design their quality control system, and the quality assurance, we put it at the end of assembly line. Okay, over here it's okay. Okay, but sometimes you actually put that into your assembly station or your production station. You have QA over here, and you have a QA OK product. That big difference is one is assembled product, the other one is a QA OK product. And you put that into package. And at the end, to a customer, that will be package ready for shipping. All right. So just give you a quick reminder. This is what our product look like. And the thing is, okay, this time we bring in the packaging part. Okay, so we might have a process look like this. Set up 3D printer. Okay, this is the previous print. I know it's it's not the backpack hook, but just imagine that. Okay, it's a backpack hook. You need to take it away to previous print to remove. Okay, and then place it back. The print mat, place mat, and maybe you want to have some glue or tape, depends on the printer, and set parameter. Okay, once you start printing, you can just walk away. It is similar to what you see in a commercial, set it and forget it. Okay, because there's not much you can do. You don't want to stand over there and stare at the printing process. Once you print it out, okay, you can take it out. And now you can see these three parts. 3 pictures over here actually showing the one part. This is the actual, this is what you need. And this is what you get. So you have to clean up this, the actual material, which is appear to be a supporting materials. Okay. And after you do that, you can put that into a package. It could be either a box, or you can just, okay, think about this. Our hook, backpack hook look like this, right? Put that into a plastic bags. Okay, and then have a tab, paper-based tab. You probably see something like this quite often. Okay, it's not going to be very expensive. It's just like that, and which you can hand over to the shelf within the store. So either this or this, and at the end put into the big box. So this is what our process model looks like. We have 4 major steps. But when you look at the process, the step closely, you will see something very interesting. We would show you the print farm first, and then move on to the time aspect. Okay, this is from Prusa. Okay, Prusa, they are using their own printer to print the parts for the new printer. So you probably remember in last week we have a video talking about rep printer. Okay, so the printer itself can make their own printer as if they are printing their descendants. And to create a production line like this, okay, of course you can use network connected, which is going to be very sophisticated because you're going to run a lot of wires. Or you can just use this. This is the SD card. Okay, and they have red tape at the end of SD card is because what, easy to pull it out, and they will insert over here the slots. Okay, and just imagine that you over here we are talking about, okay, you remove the previous print, you place the mat back, you put on the glue or tape as needed, and you start setting parameter, that including you load the model and then set up the extruder speed, print speed, and temperature, and so on. Okay, that's probably we have a, because it's a standard operation procedure, so you can kind of estimate how long it would take. So bear this in mind, the picture over here. So the question now is, how many printer am I going to use from my print farm in order to meet customers' demands? Okay, that's what we're going to learn. So the question is, how many printer? First questions, and how many people? You may wondering, okay, you just said it's set it and forget about it. But once you are setting multiple printer, this one becomes a production lines. Okay, and then you want to make sure your line is balancing. You have a good utilization of your manpower instead of they are just waiting and doing nothing. So let's take a look at 2 scenarios. This is the first scenarios I'm going to discuss in the next video, and to show you, okay, how do we address the issue of bottleneck. Okay, we have using the PLA, and this number is coming from what we have in the table from last week. Okay, we have print one part each time, and you have 0.6 millimeter nozzle and the 15% fill rate. I hope by now it should not be very foreign to you. 0.35 millimeter speed layer height, because it's a fast one. Okay, so and the other one is we print 3 parts. So I want to address both of them. And when you look at this one, okay, the setup 3D printer, this number is what I made it up. Okay, it's assumption. Okay, based on my previous experience, usually take 3 minutes to take out the parts, clean up the mat, put it back, maybe do some calibration, okay, and then set up the printer parameters. The actual printing, that is from the table from last week, week 12. And this too, the clean up the parts based on what we know about the parts, okay, and then packaging the parts, okay. Packaging, we will discuss more next week, but it's not just the part itself. You want to stable it, and sometimes you want to do a QA. So you can say, okay, QA over here, and then also insert other items. Okay, and as you can see, okay, this one is 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and 76 minutes. So what does that mean? Anything behind the print parts, okay, they are waiting for the part to be printed. So if you have operator over here waiting for the part to be printed, it basically is not doing anything. 76 minutes, okay, waiting for 76 minutes until he can do anything. And actually, if you are including the setup, okay, that will be 86 minutes. So it is not a good idea to just use single printer, and that's the reason why I want to show you, okay, I need more than one printer. Okay, this is the bottleneck, more than one printer. Needed. Alright, another scenario is the same, but now we're using ABS. Okay, as you can see, that's even taking longer because the fill rate. How do we deal with that? Okay, so I'd like to stop here and switch to a different video, but hopefully bear this in mind. We are talking about, this is what the product looks like. Now the process look like, okay, starting from raw material to finished goods, assembly parts, and then all the way to the package, shipping to the customer. This is what it looks like when we're doing 3D printing, and our packaging is like 1 put in the box, 2 put in the bags, plastic bags. Okay, and you might include in the user menu or just print it on the box or the bag, the tab itself. Our printer farm, okay, and the scenarios. All right.